हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, आप सभी का हमारे चैनल हाई पेस एजुकेशन में स्वागत है। इस क्लास में हम देखेंगे क्लास 10th बायोलॉजी का चैप्टर हेरिडिटी एंड इवोल्यूशन। स्टूडेंट्स, इस क्लास में हम कवर करेंगे इस चैप्टर के पूरे फुल चैप्टर के नोट्स। ये नोट्स बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। स्टूडेंट्स, ये नोट्स बहुत ही ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव है और हर टॉपिक को पॉइंट्स वाइज डिवाइड किया हुआ है, जिससे कि आपको इन नोट्स को समझने में बहुत ही ज़्यादा आसानी होगी। स्टूडेंट्स, ये नोट्स बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है और इफेक्टिव है और आपको एग्जाम में हाई स्कोर करने में बहुत ही ज़्यादा हेल्प करेंगे। इसलिए इस वीडियो को अच्छे से समझने के लिए एंड तक ज़रूर देखना। स्टूडेंट्स, हर पेज को रीड करने के बाद मैं उसे लैंडस्केप में करूँगा, जिससे आप इन नोट्स का स्क्रीनशॉट भी ले सकते हो और बाद में इन नोट्स के आप प्रिंट आउट भी निकलवा सकोगे रिविजन के लिए। तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं हमारा बायोलॉजी का चैप्टर हेरिडिटी एंड इवोल्यूशन। So first we'll start from heredity. Heredity is the transmission of characters from one generation to another generation. Second, evolution. It is the gradual sequence of change which takes place over millions of years. The branch of biology which deals about heredity and evolution is called genetics. Now we have given a note here. The father of genetics is Gregor Johann Mendel. Next we'll read about the Mendel's experiment. So under this, the first point is Mendel selected pea plant Piscium sativum for his experiment. Mendel selected pea plant because of the following reasons. The first reason is pea plants are easily available. Pea plants have very short lifespan and pea plant have different contrasting characters. Next point, chromosome is a thread-like structure in the nucleus of a cell formed of DNA which carries the genes. A gene is a unit of DNA on a chromosome which governs the synthesis of one protein that controls a specific characteristic of an organism. Please take the screenshot, students, after pausing the video. Students, यहाँ पर एक टेबल दी हुई है, इस टेबल को आप पढ़ सकते हो. नेक्स्ट विल रीड अबाउट मोनोहाइब्रिड क्रॉस. द क्रॉसिंग बिटवीन द प्लांट्स considering only one character such as height is called monohybrid cross. You can see, students, the cross structure is given here. Please take the screenshot. Next we have a note. In this we will read about the law of dominance. So according to the law of dominance, the gene which express itself in F1 generation is called dominance gene. Dominant gene is always expressed with capital letter. Next, dihybrid cross. The crossing between the plants considering two characters is called dihybrid cross. You can see the structure, students, and one table is also given here. Students, this table is also available in the NCERT book of Science class 10th. You can take the screenshot. This ratio is also given here. Next we'll read about the acquired and inherited traits. First, acquired traits. The characters which are not transferred from one generation to another generation is called acquired traits. Example, dancing, swimming, walking, singing, etc. Next, inherited traits. The characters which are transferred from one generation to another generation are called inherited traits. Example, eye color, skin color, height, etc. Note, acquired traits are not inheritable because related genes are not present in our body. Change in non-reproductive tissue cannot be passed on to DNA of germ cells. Next topic is sex determination in humans. So under this we'll read, the determination of sex is due to presence of sex chromosomes. In human, male sex chromosomes are XY, including 22 pairs of autosomes. In human female, sex chromosomes are XX, including 22 pairs of autosomes. Please take the screenshot. You can see the structure here, students. Next, we'll read about an illustration. Let us assume a green plant having 12 red beetles. Cross eat these beetles because red color is easily visible on the surface of trees. Now, due to sexual reproduction, variation takes place in the color of beetles. Red color beetles change into green color beetles and they survived well. Again, after several generations, color variation arises during reproduction. It results in the formation of blue color beetles. Crows can easily see blue color beetles in green plants. Now, an elephant caused a major havoc in the beetle population in the portion where more green beetles were available. This results in the sudden change in frequency of genes called genetic drift. Evolution should not always be equated with progression. Please take the screenshot, students. Next, we'll read about the evidence of evolution. There are three evidences of evolution. First is homologous organ, B is analogous organ, and third is fossils. First, we'll read about homologous organ. The organ which have similar basic design but different function are called homologous organ. Example, forelimbs of human and forelimbs of frog. Analogous organ. The organs having different basic design but similar function are called analogous organ. Example, wings of bat and wings of butterfly. Next, fossils. Fossils are the preserved traces of living organisms which were found inside Earth's crust. We determine age of fossils by two methods. First method is by relative method and second method is by carbon dating. Carbon dating is the more popular method. First, we'll read about relative method. The fossils which are found nearby the earth crust are likely to be more new compared than to the fossils which are found deep inside the earth's crust. Take the screenshot. Human evolution. Humans were first originated in the forest of Africa. They slowly migrated from Africa to West Asia and then to Central Asia. They traveled down islands of Indonesia and Philippines to Australia. Like all other species, they had come into being as an accident of evolution. Now, evolution by stages. So you can see, students, wild cabbage, how different types of cabbages are found on earth, like broccoli, cabbage, red cabbage, cauliflower. The evolution of cabbage is due to the variation occurs naturally. A flatworm known as planaria has very simple eyes that are just eye spot, which explains evolution. Next, we'll read about speciation. It is a process by which the formation of new species takes place from existing species. Speciation may be affected by genetic drift. Take the screenshot. Next, laws of segregation. Students, it is an important topic. According to law of segregation, the genes separated from each other at the time of gamete formation, only one gene will pass from parent to the offspring. For example, RR, from this only one gene will pass. You can see. Second is the law of independent assortment. According to the law of independent assortment, there is no any blending at the time of arrangement of gene. This law is called law of independent assortment. स्टूडेंट्स, हमारे जो नोट्स थे वो यहीं तक ही थे, यहाँ पर कंप्लीट हो चुके हैं. अब हम यहाँ से जो इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स है वो हम रीड करेंगे. स्टूडेंट्स, ये क्वेश्चन आंसर्स बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है और प्रीवियस ईयर्स के बोर्ड एग्जाम्स में ये आ चुके हैं क्वेश्चन आंसर्स, तो प्लीज़ इन्हें अच्छे से देखना आप. क्वेश्चन नंबर फर्स्ट इज, हाउ डज द क्रिएशन ऑफ वेरिएशन इन अ स्पीशीज प्रमोट सर्वाइवल? सो द आंसर इज, नेचुरल सिलेक्शन सिलेक्ट्स the individuals having useful variation which ensure their survival in the prevailing condition of environment. Variant individuals that can withstand or cope with prevailing environment will survive better and will increase in the number through differential reproduction. Take the screenshot. Next question is, how do Mendel's experiments show that traits may be dominant or recessive? Mendel took pea plant with contrasting characteristics, tall plant and dwarf plant. On cross pollination, he got all tall plants in F1 generation. Then by self pollination of F1 tall plants, he produced second generation consisting of tall and short plants in the ratio of 3:1. Then conclude that T trait is dominant while the smaller T trait of shortness is recessive. Our next question is, how is the sex ratio of the child determined in human beings? So the answer is, the female carry 2 X chromosomes. Females produce one type of gametes with same type of chromosomes. Males have one X and one Y chromosome. Among the male gametes, half of the sperm carry X chromosomes and half carry Y chromosomes. Thus, female is homogametic and male is heterogametic. When a sperm carrying X chromosome fertilizes an egg, the zygote develops into female. When sperm carrying Y chromosome fertilizes an egg, the zygote develops into a male. Thus, sex is determined at the time of fertilization. Take the screenshot, students. Our next question is, what are the different ways in which individuals with a particular trait may increase in a population? So the answer is, different ways are variation, natural selection and genetic drift. Our next question is, Why are traits acquired during the lifetime of an individual not inherited? So the answer is because acquired characters being changes only in non-reproductive tissues and cannot change the genes of germ cells. Thus acquired traits cannot be passed to next generation. Question number 6. Will geographical isolation be a major factor in the speciation of a self-pollinating plant species? Why or why not? So the answer is no, because pollination occurs on the same plant in self-pollinating plant species. Our next question is, give an example of characteristics being used to determine how close two species are in evolutionary terms. So the answer is homologous organs, analogous organs and vestigial organs help to identify evolutionary relationships among the species. Next question is, can the wing of butterfly and the wing of a bat be considered homologous organs? Why or why not? Take the screenshot. So the answer is no. Wing of a bat and a wing of a bird cannot be considered as homologous organs because they have different basic structure and have same functions. Next question is, what are fossils? Why do they tell us about the process of evolution? So the answer is fossils are impression or remains of ancient life found preserved in the sedimentary rocks. Fossils are direct evidences of evolution. Fossils also help to identify evolutionary relationship between apparently different species. They also tell about the extent of evolution that has taken place. Our next question is, why are humans who look so different from each other in terms of size, color and look said to belong to the same species? They look different because of interaction of genes with environment which result in change in their appearance. But they belong to the same species as they have same number of chromosomes and can breed among themselves. Next question is, how are the area of studying evolution and classification interlinked? So the answer is, the more characteristics two species will have in common, the more closely they are related. The more closely they are related, the more recently they will have had a common ancestor. Take the screenshot. So it can be said that classification of species is in fact a reflection of their evolutionary relationship. Our next question is, explain the terms analogous and homologous organ with examples. So homologous organs are those organs having similar basic structure but has different functions. Example, forelimbs of frogs and humans. Analogous organs are those organs having different basic structure but has similar functions. Example, wings of bat and wings of bird. Next question, only variation that confer an advantage to an individual organisms will survive in a population. Do you agree with this statement? Why or why not? No, many of the times the variations are not advantageous to an individual organism, but they still survive in a population. Example, take the case of free earlobe and attached earlobe. Most of the other variation not only give survival advantage to an individual, but also contribute to genetic drift. Thus, we can say that most of the variation lead to better adaptation of an organism to the changing environment. In this way, it gives survival advantage to the organisms and will also survive in the coming population. Take the screenshot. Our next question is, will geographical isolation be a major factor in the speciation of an organism that reproduces asexually? Why or why not? So the answer is no, because asexual reproduction involves single parent or organism. Our next question is, what factors could lead to the rise of a new species? So the answer is genetic variation, natural selection and reproductive isolation could lead to the rise of a new species. Our last question is, in evolutionary terms, can we say which among bacteria, spiders, fish and chimpanzees have a better body design? Why or why not? No, because different designs are the product of evolution and different species have different body designs to suit or adapt to their environment. स्टूडेंट्स, हमारा जो चैप्टर है बायोलॉजी का हेरिडिटी एंड इवोल्यूशन यहीं पर एंड होता है. स्टूडेंट्स, इसके जो क्वेश्चन आंसर है ये भी बहुत ज़्यादा इजी है, ज़्यादा टफ नहीं है. अगर आपको हमारा वीडियो अच्छा लगा हो तो प्लीज़ इसे लाइक कीजिए और हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर कीजिए आगे और भी ऐसे वीडियोस देखने के लिए. हमें आप कमेंट में बताइए कि नेक्स्ट वीडियो कौन से चैप्टर पर और कौन से सब्जेक्ट्स पर आप देखना चाहते हो. थैंक यू सो मच स्टूडेंट्स.